Jeff Keighley, the man that is in charge of the Game Awards, has stated multiple times that there will be multiple announcements at this year's Game Awards. More than ever. There is always announcements at the Game Awards, and they're not always just random games. They're always big titles. I mean, mostly from Nintendo. You look back at the past years that Nintendo has shown stuff at, and it's mostly Breath of the Wild, which was huge because we would get hardly any information about the game. When we saw the teaser trailer way back in 2014 in E3, they had gameplay of Breath of the Wild super early. Like, you look at the gameplay footage, it's crazy. Like, I remember watching that for the first time, and my jaw, like, it was just open, like, the whole, I think it was like 3 minutes of gameplay. It was crazy. But yeah, so they had a trailer in 2016 for Breath of the Wild. They had they announced the DLC of the Champions Ballad at last year's. They had Bayonetta 3 at last year's, the announcement of that. They had the ports of Bayonetta. Like, every single year there is a major announcement. And this year, what will they show? Now, if we look at the audience of who generally watches the Game Awards, it's usually people that are really enthusiastic about games. So it's not like a show for like people that play like Animal Crossing, you know, like, I mean, Animal Crossing's for everyone, right? But it's like, it's more pushed at like casual players, right? But the games that are shown and things that happen at the Game Awards are more focused on a hardcore gamer, you know, fan base. For Nintendo, they always show some kind of game that's really hyped up, you know. I mean, especially Breath of the Wild, they kept showing that all the time. But Bayonetta 3, like, that was crazy. That came out of nowhere. My predictions for what will be shown, they could possibly show Bayonetta 3 again. I don't know too sure about that. I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised. Nintendo could just have one announcement this year. They could have two. I would most likely say two. So I could see Bayonetta 3 like getting maybe like a trailer, or maybe some gameplay footage, possibly. But most likely to be shown at this year's Game Awards is Metroid Prime 4. Now hear me out, okay? It's like, wait, what? Like, why would they show Metroid Prime 4? The last time we saw anything Metroid Prime 4 was back in 2017 at E3. And that was huge, right? But all we got was a teaser trailer. And we saw the logo, and I mean, it wasn't even like the finalized logo. You know, like, the game was very early in development. And even Reggie said that the game was early in development. Now, recently, just not too long ago, an interview came out that they interviewed Reggie, and they asked about Metroid Prime 4, and he said that the game was well in development. Now, I think it's highly possible that they will show Metroid Prime 4 at this year's Game Awards, because it makes sense. They haven't shown it for a year and a half. Reggie says that it's well in development. I mean, I don't expect too much, right? I don't expect like gameplay and like all that. I expect just a teaser trailer to get the hype back up again. And then after that, they will reveal the Metroid Prime Trilogy HD for Switch. They did this for Bayonetta last year. They're like, oh, here's Bayonetta 3. Or actually, no, they announced the ports of Bayonetta 1 and 2, and then they announced 3, I think. But I see it highly possible that they will port the trilogy onto Switch. Except I don't think it's going to be called a trilogy, because once 4 is out, it's not going to be a trilogy anymore. But that aside, because of the hype around Metroid Prime 4, a lot of people have been interested in the series. I'm a huge Metroid fan. Those of you that know me personally, and like in my Discord and stuff like that, I see people like excited and they want to like try it out. And I think like starting off with the first Prime game, I think that would be a great start. So I think it would be great to introduce this series to newcomers and also keep the old fans just kind of, you know, wait for Prime 4. Now, that's not my final prediction. The one thing about the Game Awards this year is that it's the day before Smash releases. Now, we already know, like, the hackers, a lot of people already have the game, right? But I think it's not too far off to say they could show off a DLC fighter at this year's Game Awards. Because Sakurai did say not too long ago that Nintendo was done with the DLC fighters. So they could easily just put out a trailer and then that would bring up the hype even more. Because the thing is, you have to realize is that if they show any game off at the Game Awards this year, it's gonna be overshadowed by Smash the next day. So, you know, they really gotta, you know, you really gotta think about it. To who is gonna be announced, I'm not gonna say, because I mean, there's a Piranha Plant in the game. Like you can't predict Sakurai, you know. But yeah, I'm really excited for the Game Awards. I'm gonna be streaming it next Thursday. I think it's guaranteed that they will show Prime 4. I mean, what other game will they show? They can't show Fire Emblem. There's not like a lot of hype around that. They can't show Animal Crossing because, I mean, it's not really the right audience. So Metroid Prime 4 is, they have to show it, you know. And then like they could show the trilogy. Like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna flip out because, bro, like Metroid Prime. Pretty soon I'm gonna put out a video talking about what things I would want to see in Metroid Prime 4. And I gotta say, I think that the ideas I came up with are so good that they're not gonna happen. Like, it might be a mistake to put it out because it's gonna like hype everyone up and then it's just gonna be like the ideas I came up with, they're too good, they're too good. So what do you guys think about my predictions? Do you think that they're likely to happen? I personally do think that they will happen, especially with Prime 4. I mean, with the other ones, like Ultimate and Bayonetta 3, like those have a possibility of being at the Game Awards, but I think Metroid Prime 4 out of any other game would be shown. Thank you for watching. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I would love to discuss it. I'll see you at the live stream event, and until next time, I'll catch you in the next one.